Hey, what's up? This is Fonzie from Dead River Rebels. I'm the lead singer of the band. Here is Aaron Villarreal, our lead guitarist. Alex, our rhythm guitarist, and Sean, our drummer. And we're gonna be playing Party Days for you right now, so get your party on.
Anarchy, anarchy, I want to be free. I'm choking on the smoke from the capitalist machine. Anarchy, anarchy, you know you best believe we don't need these goddamn police. Anarchy, anarchy, I want to be free. I'm choking on the smoke from a capitalist machine. Anarchy, anarchy, you know you best believe we don't need these goddamn police.
This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, number one podcast in Oakland, number one podcast in the Bay Area. And today is a special day because we have something that's normally not on the show. I try to branch off, and I mean, you can't be a fan of music and listen to one genre. So today we have a special guest. We have an up and coming, on the rise band out of the Bay Area. When you think of Green Day, when you think of a little bit of Rage Against the Machine, when you think of the whole 90s grunge rock scene, you think of these people. Dead River Rebels. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So
appreciate it.
Before we start, please, one by one, introduce yourselves.
Okay. My name is Alejandro Jimenez, and I'm right now helping with the rhythm guitar.
My name is Sean Ryan, on drums.
My name is Aaron Viriel. I play guitar.
My name is Fonzie Vergara. I'm the lead vocalist.
And we're missing Marco, who's on bass.
Yeah, shout out to Marco, our bass player. He's fucking AWOL. So really get in there. You know, like.
Boom. Okay, so I came across you guys because I knew one of your band members, Sean. Me and Sean go way back, partying, doing a lot of drugs. Don't want to put that out there, but
Yeah. Hey, mom. We don't do
Okay, we're not
drugs.
ashamed.
but yeah. Then he told me he was in a band. I was like, okay, boom. And then he always invited me to you guys' shows, but I never happened to make it, which I apologize for. But you guys performed for me.
And we
You
got
guys
the show to you.
Yeah, you guys performed for me, and then I am very impressed. So tell me, whoever wants to answer this question, how did this band come about?
I'll answer the question. So when the band came about, it was me and shout out to Aaron, our other Aaron, or Dylan. Jeez, I can't even remember his
The
name.
band started with Dylan and I. And
Sean, grab the mic and put it to you.
The band started with Dylan and I in our apartment in Exeter Street in San Francisco, and we started it in our living room, and I had shirts on all my drum heads, and Dylan and I started a couple songs, and then he brought Alfonso over, and I smacked him in the face, and he did not like me, and that's how we began that experience. And then we went to Rocker Studios, where
So wait. So you guys started a band off with drama?
Off of what?
Drama?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean,
not in a bad way. I mean,
no, we started off with drugs.
It was an endearing smack. But
Okay.
I was pushing his buttons because that's how I am.
And I told him he gets one. I was like, you get one, and that was your free one.
Okay.
So don't exercise that again. But honestly, it was so freaking low rent, man. I was like, I don't even know if I can contribute anything to this band, man. This is just not the only style of music I listen to, and it might not even be the number one. And it was like that kind of punk rock genre. But I could see that, first of all, that they wanted to keep having me on, and they just they get to see the heart and the hunger. Those are the two things that you really need, I think, to succeed, not only just in music but in general. And Sean was playing, he had T-shirts over his drum kits because he didn't want to wake the neighbors or have people calling and complaining. So it really started out in a living room / kitchen, and I was like, dude, I just don't know if we can make it. But then I heard this one song and this one melody, and it ended up being our song Hey Ho, and I just thought, this is really boss, man. This is really, really chart topping kind of shit. And I wrote the lyrics to that song in 2 days. We persevered. It was the three of us. Like a lot of bands, man, you're brothers and you fight like brothers too. You love and you fight like brothers. So Dylan ended up splitting. We're friends with him to this day. Shout out to him.
He just filled in on bass the other day.
Yeah, we're all on good terms, man. He's always going to be part of the DRR family.
All right, so when the band first started, Sean, you are one of the founding persons.
Yep, Dylan and I.
You and Dylan. Okay, so you, Dylan, and Alfonso were just friends who were just doing music, right? Did you have the intention of starting a band, or you just
really kind of? Dylan moved here from Denver, and I got him a job, and we started playing music together, and that was kind of the intention. And then Dylan knew Alfonso from Alfonso was a doorman at Danny Coyle's.
Yeah, as a bouncer at the Irish bar.
Alfonso was always showing up in a 3-piece suit, just dressed to the nines, and he's just such a classy dude. And I'm like, he showed up in a sweater to our first thing, and I called him Mr. Rogers. And
I don't even remember that.
I
was so high.
And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy in a sweater? And he's such a great front man because he's got this aura of he just has his presence. One of his biggest idols is with Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, Liam Gallagher. Shout out LG, the man. So he's the lead singer of Oasis, but they were always a really cocky band, but they were very authentic. But they were from England, but they grew up in government housing, and they were just really legit. So we're about people you write music, it's an art form, and you got to be. Your art should say who you are. It should be true to who you are. So I think our art was true to us. That sweater, by the way, was no sweater. That was Brooklyn Circus. That's legit. It's a fucking
nice
good sweater. It's not. It's not your grandpa's sweater, but just to defend the sweater's honor. Yeah, but we love that asshole though. Yeah.
So when it was just you three, right? Were you looking? You were actively looking for a lead singer.
Well, it was Dylan and I. We were looking for a lead singer. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then we found a bassist on Craigslist, and then there was 4 of us for a while.
Okay.
And then recently we've been kind of back and forth between different guitarists. We had a person named Alex with us for a while.
Different Alex, yeah.
Different Alex, and now this Alex is the newest member of our band, and he's a great addition. And
honestly, man, it's like being married to fucking 4 other people, man. And you got to get along. You got to work things out, man. You got to compromise. You got to get your schedules right.
So this is the final.
I hope so,
the
man. I
final-
think so. You know, like
Marco's, we're hoping that he sticks with it. It plays in multiple other bands, so we're trying to. Bassists are always kind of hard to keep down because they're such an interesting breed of musician, and so. But yeah, we like where we're at right now, and we've been getting some really good responses when we play, and we've got a bunch of shows coming up, so we're really excited just about kind of moving forward, and we're stoked to be here. On your platform, which is not usually punk rock, and I feel privileged that you were interested in having us, and I just think that's awesome, especially in the Bay Area, because there's just so much love out here, and there's just so much different types of people around each other, and it's so nice when you and I, we're not the same, but it's we saw each other, like what the fuck is up, and I just saw you standing there, I'm like, this guy seems rad, and it's just and
it's community, man.
I'm putting the show on in October 22nd. It's my first festival. It's called Gremstock at Winter's Tavern, and I'm having all different types of genres, and it's not just going to be a punk rock thing. It's all sorts of things, and I'm excited for it because a lot of times we put on shows that are just punk rock shows, and we kind of have the same people coming to the shows, which is great. But I'm trying to kind of be more collective and bring all sorts of different types of people together and get all sorts of people in the crowd. And Winter's Tavern is just such a special place in the music scene, so I'm really excited about that.
So one thing one thing I do when I interview people, I like to learn about like their history, because your history makes the person you are today, right? So where are all four of you guys originally from?
Oof, well, I mean, I've kind of moved around a lot. I lived a very nomadic life, man. I was born in South Korea. My mom's from South Korea. She's from Incheon. My father was a GI who was born and raised in Chile. That was not a fart. That was just a door catcher. I love it.
I thought it was a fart. I was about to say, you bold, motherfucker.
Well, we did just eat Cowbird. We just got done eating at Cowbird, which is like just down the street from this place. So if you guys want to support local Oakland fare and have really some of the best fried chicken I had, Cowbird, man. KOW, because it's hipster, BIRD.
Yeah, Cowbird sponsor us, motherfucker.
Sponsor it. Yeah. But in any case, yeah. So my father's from Chile. He was born and raised there. That's in South America for all you history buffs and social studies motherfuckers. And then he became a GI when he joined the United States Air Force after he was living in Queens, New York for a while. He got stationed in Korea. They fell in love. And, I'm a GI love story like my siblings. And, my mom passed away 3 years ago, but they were married 42 years. So, a great upbringing, but just lived in a lot of different places, man.
Did you, how much time did you spend in Chile?
Shit, none. I mean, my dad was born and raised there, but there was a lot of political unrest, man. There was a military dictatorship in Chile. Chile was messed up, man. So yeah, I didn't spend any time in Chile, man. I was a GI brat, and then I became a GI myself. I was in the 101st Airborne. Shout out 2nd 187th Raksan. But I moved around a lot, man. We were always, my dad flew B-52s, so he was they were nuclear capable, so we were living in these remote hodunk places like Upper Peninsula, Michigan, Midwest City, Oklahoma, Leavenworth, Kansas, Homestead, Florida. So a lot, Central Valley, California, a lot. So I'd say I spent most of my life in California. Yeah. And I moved up here from Sacramento to San Francisco in the Bay Area like 20 years ago now.
Was your family, were your parents into music?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was not necessarily the kind of music I listened to, but my dad had a pretty badass record collection, man. I mean, he had vinyls, and it was everything from Jimi Hendrix, who was a big fan of, to the Rolling Stones, and like a lot of rock and roll, a lot of classic rock. But he also got me into opera, man. I listened to Pavarotti and Placido Domingo and some of the great tenors. He got me into classical music too. So he's a very, very eclectic guy, and it definitely kind of influenced my taste. And then I branched out and did my own shit, man. Like, got everything from fucking glam rock and hair metal to like, Britpop was a big influence on me in the 90s. When everybody was like listening to grunge, that shit was a little too depressing for me. So my life was already hard. So I just wanted I wanted to hear some fucking party music and whatnot.
I want to shout out to your dad too, because he's a big fan of ours. And
yeah.
He comes to a lot of our shows, and my dad too. It's like, it's so endearing when he's like there, and he's in front, and he's a super solid guy. So.
Shout out Gonzo. Shout out Tom Ryan. Love you guys. Yeah. So that's my story. It's complicated, but Aaron?
So I grew up in Central Valley, this really small farm town outside of Fresno, and there's nothing to do, so the most you could do is just like get some friends together and play music. My dad taught me how to play guitar. He had like all these 80s hair metal records. and like 80s, like 70s, like rock, like pop rock and stuff. And he would play that around the house. And then my mom would also play like R&B and Michael Jackson and like U2 and all these like kind of like post-punk bands. And that kind of, all of that kind of culminated. Plus, just like a lot of the music that I listen to now was just shit people have showed me over the years. And I kind of, something that we do as a band is we kind of try to stay out of the lane for too long. Like we don't want to be playing the same like type of punk rock or like experimenting within the genre, but also like taking it outside and expanding. Like if you come to our shows, you'll hear more of like the influence from like funk and like disco and Britpop also.
Which one of your parents, or if any of your parents, influenced you to start playing guitar?
My dad. My dad was my first guitar teacher.
And what year did you start like actually playing?
I started playing when I was like 7, but then I didn't take it super seriously until I was 10 years old, and then I just kept playing until since then.
When you were growing up, was music like the number one passion for you, or were you into something else and then you just became passionate about music later on?
Yeah. At first, I didn't really listen to music when I was a little kid, other than what my parents would play. But it wasn't until middle school where I kind of like, I don't know, something clicked and I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to start a band. I started a band in 6th grade.
Oh, so you had a band in 6th grade?
I mean, it wasn't really a band. I would just take my guitar to my friend's house and I would like play some like My Chemical Romance songs and eventually I started taking it more seriously once I got to college and I could afford to like buy more stuff.
Were you like in like a wedding singer type band?
No,
Just covers, yeah.
no, we did like, I don't know. We really didn't do much in high school. We just tried to play shows, but it never really worked out. It wasn't until college where I actually got some experience playing shows, being on stage for real, and like not like a school talent show or something.
Kind of feel like an asshole that I never even fucking knew this about you because I've known you for years.
Well, I don't really talk about
I'm just caught up in my own shit. I never even asked you. Yeah. I caught up in my own shit.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Fresno.
Yeah.
Is that where you spend like all of your life? When did you come to the Bay Area?
I moved here in 2018.
For what reason?
I transferred to San Francisco State, and I finished my degree there.
What did you study?
Molecular biology.
Fucking smart one, huh?
That's what I was into first before music was science. But music came along with,
That's why we got songs like Genetic Decline.
Yeah, a lot of
Proton-
our songs have
Proton Decay.
like scientific names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of...
I
Are
love
you
it.
the main writer of songs of the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the guitar part, Alfonso writes the most of the
Yeah, he writes most of the lyrics.
Although Aaron's catching up now. He's been writing a lot of lyrics lately.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a little bit of dynamic as well.
in the band that I was before I moved
I
here,
hear that.
I was
No, Sean, when you speak, grab the mic.
That mic, yeah, I was going to say, like, there's no way anybody picked that up.
when
You're in a band, motherfucker. You should know how to mic
closer to the
work.
Yeah, but I
There's
never
no-
have a
either has a
mic. I
mic.
hide behind my drums.
There's a reason for that.
Yes. The band that I was in before I moved here, I was the lead singer, so I already knew, and I played guitar, so I already knew how to like put a whole song together,
Okay.
and I kind of just go with what sounds good when I'm just like messing around.
When did you think that this band is like can actually do something
The first
in your estimate?
the first day,
The first day.
yeah, because
The first day you were like, okay, we got something here.
yeah, something that I don't know.
Or you just saying that because
sometimes like
your lead singer
Testify, bro. Come
looks
on.
like he's
When-
in the UFC or some shit.
when I'm working,
Maybe that
or when
motherfucker
I
right
back
there.
down when I was at school, everything's so analytical.
Yeah.
But I kind of just wanted the feeling with that time. I played one of our songs riff that became a song. The first day I was with them, and I like, this is gonna work out. I think.
Aaron and we have good chemistry together when we start playing with each other, and it just kind of clicks. And that's just something that you can't just. It doesn't just happen every day. So it's been from the very beginning. It's been fluid.
But and that part of the reason why is because in high school I was in marching band and I played drums.
Okay.
So
you play drums and guitar.
I don't play as much drums anymore. I just played at school. But when I write music, I kind of already think of what the drums are going to sound like. Or I play in a really percussive way. Like I make sure I have playing the rhythm, accenting the rhythm when I'm playing guitar. And that kind of makes it easy for me to communicate with drummers.
I always had a question. I mean, for like people who write songs for the band. I mean, you're obviously not the lead singer, correct? So when you write songs, are you thinking of how the lead singer's voice sounds, or do you have him in mind, or do you just thinking about your own vocal arrangement?
Yeah, I try to sing in his range, but sometimes I try to push it, and that's what I've been trying to do lately.
Have you ever wrote a song where the lead singer came back and was like, I'm not feeling this shit. I can't sing.
That's happened
like
lots.
that.
I've showed up to practice like, dude, this is gold. We gotta and then I realized like, oh wait, maybe it's not. And it's like it's a 7-minute song and there's all these weird like passages in it. Then
He likes long songs. I'm always like, come on, dude, it's so long. But
But I would say overall, he's got a.
City was a super long one, and everybody.
You don't have a mic in front of you, man.
Sean, speak it to the goddamn
Let's get
mic.
painful.
trying.
But honestly, like, no, I think that if I can say something to Aaron, because he's very modest, but also, I think that I'm really happy to hear that you were fucking in the band since day one, because he's ridden with us, man. I mean, you feel like an OG member of this band
it's been
because
4 years.
yeah, dude, you definitely a made man at this point, man. Like you're definitely indoctrinated because we've had a lot of people come and go, man. But he stuck through it. And I would say at some point, some of those lows were pretty low, and I was like, this thing looks like it's hanging on by a thread. If not coming apart at the seams. But fucking Aaron hung in there and thank God we got Alex on board too now because he brings another different element. But yeah, Sean and Alex both got all interesting stories, and I think that's actually kind of ties into the name of the band. I can get at later because I know that you guys still haven't answered that question about your backgrounds, but they got interesting ass backgrounds. Sean, one of the weirdest fucking shit I've ever heard. You wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah, he has stories.
You got raised in a place you never knew existed. Try it.
Oh, actually, well, that's for me too. I never say the name of my hometown because it's just like, what is it? Reedley.
Nice. Shout out Wrigley.
Shout out Reedley, California.
There you go, man. You raised this motherfucker.
Shout out Cryptic Sound. Shout out Destructive Productions. They're the biggest like punk rock production company in Fresno. So Franco Villanueva too, really cool guy.
All right, Franco.
All right, well, Sean, where did you grow up?
Originally, I'm from Montana. Grew up in Helena. I grew up on a yoga retreat ranch way in the mountains. It's called Feather Pipe Ranch, and it's a pretty wild place. I grew up around a bunch of hippies, being crazy hippies, and grew up on top of a mountain. And it's been very special, just the community that's up there, and I feel very privileged to have that.
In Montana?
In Montana. And, growing up, it was... I kind of pushed it away a little bit. I was a skater who didn't really want too much to do with the spirituality and, all these hippies being hippies. And I just wanted to party and smoke cigarettes in the parking lot. And as I get older, I actually just did my first retreat there this summer. And, it's a very magical place, and it's made a huge impact on my life and me as a person. And, wherever I go in the world, I can connect with anybody because I just kind of... I have been around so many different types of people growing up that I just kind of see people and I just always say hi. Like when you and I met, you were standing there. I'm like, this guy is a fucking character. I'm like, what is your deal? And I like to reach out to people and whatever it is. And so, and from Montana, I moved to Denver. I started playing drums when I was in third grade. I kind of go backwards a little bit. And, I started on a drum set and I had some.
Wait. Let's stick to Montana real quick.
Okay.
So you grew up with both your parents, right? They're
Both my
together?
parents, yeah.
And your parents were like hippies?
Definitely, yeah. for sure.
So were you raised like very like with a lot of your parents were very lenient? They let you like do a lot of shit?
I pretty much do what the fuck I want, and I
Okay.
still do. But yeah, I mean, in a good or a bad way, I mean, it kind of turned out a little crazy. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, my dad is one of my best friends in the world to this day, and
Parents are still together?
they're not. They were separated for 20 years, and they have a very interesting relationship. They're still very good friends. We still do family things together. They just got divorced 5 years ago, something like that. But they're still in touch.
Siblings?
I have a younger sister. Yep. She's an amazing girl. She lives in Sebastopol. My mom's actually right now. She's traveling in India. She's doing volunteer work at different children's hospitals and orphanages. So she's out there.
That's
being
awesome.
Heidi Teresa right now. So I'm real proud of her. And
Oh yeah.
so there's a lot of kind of like those growing up around those types of people. You know, it's really influential seeing, you know, people. You know, I grew up. I went to India when I was in middle school, and it changed my life.
Damn, you went to middle school? India middle
I
school?
went to India in middle school, and it changed my life.
Did you fuck any bitches in India in
That
middle
was in
school?
middle school.
I mean, I was fucking
Middle school, you were wanting it. You just couldn't get it. You didn't know how to.
India.
You didn't know how to close. You just didn't know how to close.
Did you go with your parents?
Yeah, I went with my parents.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
We went as.
I thought you went by yourself. I was
No,
like,
no,
okay.
no. I went with because like the ranch would do workshops in India, so we went on the community we went on our own kind of workshop that they would normally do. So we went all together in a bus and went all over the place. Went to Kathmandu and. You know,
So how did that trip change your perspective on
to
life?
see the poverty and to see, you know, just there's so much love there, and there's so much culture, and there's just, you know, people don't touch each other with their left hand because they're wiping their ass with their left hand. You know, there's holes in the
What?
ground where toilets are.
That's an actual thing?
Oh, it's an actual thing. Oh, 100%.
So if someone touches you with the left hand, you know that they wiped
That's
that.
your sworn enemy now.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much. You don't touch people with your left hand.
Damn.
Like when the train tracks leave, like at the train station.
Yeah.
When the train leaves, like 5,000 people come to the train tracks and are all just shitting right in front of each other. That's like the bathroom.
Damn.
It's like I would tell this story after I came back because I did a little presentation to my middle school about how there's women following cows around because cows are sacred, so they just roam the streets. And these are not like beef cows; these are anorexic cows. They look like they're about to keel over at any second. And these cows like literally have plastic bags sticking out of their ass because there's nothing to eat. They're like eating plastic. But anyways, like there's women following these cows around with baskets, and they're putting the shit on top of their head, and they huge piles of shit. And they go home and they make patties out of them, and they put them on their little huts, and they dry the patties out, and then that's what they use to cook their food with and heat their house. And I would say to people, now think about that next time you turn your oven on. Like literally someone is following around an anorexic cow, picking up its shit just to cook their fucking food. And like, as a young person, when you see that shit, your mind is fucking blown. It's insane.
If cows are sacred, why are they like
My mind's
not
blown right
being
now.
fed?
Because there's no food. Nobody's being fed. It's just,
And they refuse to eat the cows.
yeah, they're all vegetarian for the most part. Yeah.
How long were you in India
I
for?
was a month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
And
is sobering, man.
Yeah, for sure.
then when you came back, did you go to college in Montana, or did you go to college
I went to
anywhere?
undergraduate school in Montana for landscape design in Bozeman, and then I went to grad school in Denver for landscape architecture.
What got you into music?
What got me into my music was my neighbor. It was a Columbia Clearinghouse Records where you get 5 CDs for a penny or some deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
Scam, yeah.
Yeah, some scam. And so it was my neighbor. She's an older girl, and I didn't know what CDs. I was like 9 years old. So I say, hey, will you pick up my CDs for me? So she says yes. So she gets me AC/DC, Motley Crue, Poison, Bon Jovi, Meatloaf.
Hair metal.
So
Yeah.
that was like the beginning of my kind of like hearing this music. And then I just grew up and I wanted the drums. So my parents got me drums. Actually, I started playing violin, which I was horrible at. God, thank God I don't do that. But my parents got me a drum set, and I would just play with the AC/DC, and that was my biggest influence really growing up was AC/DC, and I just knew that, you know, I would be playing, looking at my wall, just being like, you know, if I keep doing this and doing this and doing this, someday I'll be able to play in front of a crowd. And now we're doing it in San Francisco, and it's in the Bay Area and all over California, and it's, you know, there's a lot of hard work and determination and not stopping, and it's, you know, I feel like obviously I want to go farther within my music career, but I feel really satisfied where I'm at right now because I'm doing it. I'm like in the middle of where I'm at, and I'm happy with it because if you can't be happy with where you're at, then what the fuck? And so, someday I would like to be on bigger stages and playing in front of huge crowds, but I really like the intimate stages, and I really like where we're at, and you got to play a million shows to get to those points, because then when you finally get to that point, you're hoping that you're really fucking good. So we're getting there. We've probably played 300-400 shows so far, and we're doing it. We're putting in the hard work, and we're making it happen. And we're excited about where we're at, and I really love
where we're going too.
Guys, where we're going, and it feels really good. And this is like what I've been wanting, and it feels good.
So you're self-taught. You didn't go to like class to learn.
I did a little bit of classes at the very beginning. I think my guy's name was Ray Brown, was my very first drum teacher. I won't forget. And I definitely took a little bit of lessons, but then after that, it was mainly just listening to my favorite CDs. And I wish I would probably practice more with a click track, because that would be one of my biggest downfalls. But that's the nice thing about punk rock; you kind of blend it in together. But that's what I'm working on. It's just practice makes perfect, and just we're going for it, and we're trying to practice twice a week right now, because once a week it turns into no times a week sometimes. So twice a week at least is one.
What's funny is we thought we were pretty fucking loose, but then we played the show, and these other bands that we were playing with, they were just like, "How are you guys so tight?" I'm like, "We're tight?" I was like, "Oh fuck, I guess we are." I mean, I knew we were good. I just don't know we're tight. There's a difference, because you could be tight and not be any fucking good. You could write shit songs and still be really tight at them. But we were writing good songs, and we were tight.
He was talking about tight, like a friendship level.
Like like chemistry, like things are crisp. Things end when they're supposed to end. Things start when they're supposed to start. People come in when they're supposed to come in. Yeah, timing. Like
it sounds like you practice.
Yeah, you know what? I always just felt like, man, our practices are just like, I just felt like it was like a battle royal. It was just fucking, really not a lot of structure, but I guess you don't need it when everybody cares about the music, and that's the whole thing. Our philosophy is just like, what is good for the song? Whatever is good for the song is the decision that we go with. So if somebody thinks that it needs gang vocals here, or it needs a pause here and an interlude, whatever is good for the song, it's a majority vote. That's what happens. It's very democratic that way.
Oftentimes things come together when we're on stage. It's just the kind of like the nervousness that you feel going on stage can turn into energy. And that's kind of what we do.
It's the best.
And it really does like fill in the gaps. Because there are times when we practice, we're off. But it's practice.
Yeah, it's the time to be off. Yeah.
Yeah. And it also, sometimes songs don't always change. Sometimes I want to add something, or it could be as simple as just needs to be faster, or needs to be slower. And oftentimes when you're playing shows, you usually lean on the faster side. But for our genre, that's usually a good thing.
Sean, were you in a band before this one?
Yeah, I was in a band in Denver. It was probably one of my first real bands where I played my first real live show. The band was called the Extra Dry Laser Ride, and we got the name off of the mirror.
Extra Dry Laser Ride.
We got the name off the mirror we were doing drugs off of.
Nice, dude.
Coors Extra Light mirror that we took off the wall, and
I love it.
It was a fun,
dope
band.
name.
We played like 30 shows, and it was kind of funk-esque sort of music, and it got my dick wet in the process of playing music and getting out there. And then I played in this other band called Smokey Paloma and the Bodegas.
These fucking names. I thought Dead River Rebels would be the longest band name you have. It's the fucking least longest. Like, I always thought the name was too long.
That was a one-show band. But it was fun. But then I moved here in 2012, I think. And then we started the band.
For what reason? What did you move to the Bay
I moved
Area
here to
for?
get away from the snow. I do landscape architecture. And
But why the Bay Area? All the way from Montana, though.
well, I moved from Denver.
Oh, still, it's a long way away.
It's a long way. I had gotten a job offer from Craigslist, and actually I had met some people. My friend Sam King, who's in Get Dead, shout out to those guys who just came back from Europe. I met Sam King in Costa Rica, and we became good friends, and we were playing his songs on the beach. And kind of like this punk rock songs, acoustic, and I had my djembe, and he says, you should come to Bay Area if, because I let him live with me for a while. And he said, if you ever come to the Bay Area, I got you. You can live on my couch. So I got a job interview. He took me to my different job. I got 2 interviews. He took me to different job interviews. I got one of the jobs. I came back. I lived on his couch for a while, and the rest is history. He actually introduced us to Scott from Alcoholocaust, who R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace, Scott.
But he was a huge staple in the punk rock community, or just in live music, putting on a lot of different shows. So Sam introduced me to him, and that's where we played our first show in San Francisco at the Knockout. And we've been playing a lot ever since.
Do you think well, let me ask this question first. You've been in multiple bands. Do you think it's hard to keep a band together?
It's really fucking hard. It's like herding cats.
Yeah.
Bro, it is.
And depends on, especially when different people have drug issues or alcoholism issues, or just families or workaholics, or who knows. I mean, all the above. It's, and then some people are more into it than other people. And so it's, we've been through quite a bit of different bassists and guitarists. And, we feel like we're in a good situation right now. We're hoping that Marco sticks with it, who's our bassist. But, it's, everybody has their own lives that they're living, and we're not a signed band, so it's easier for people to flutter away if they want to, and that's kind of how it goes. I mean, even if you are a signed band, people change all the time.
What was the reason that your first band broke up? The one that you were in I think you said Denver?
That's a good question. I don't really remember. It's just, I think we were roommates, and people moved out, and their lives changed a little bit. And that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Could have been because I'm an asshole. I don't know.
He is an asshole, yeah.
I mean, I think everyone knows that. You know what I'm saying?
It's good.
But he's our asshole, and he does a lot for the band.
They do now. So.
He actually, you talk about keeping a band together. There's little things that other people don't think about too, which is like, poor Sean. I let him kind of have. Sean is probably the leader of this band. I could say that because he earned it. He's been in the band the longest. He's the longest tenured, but he's the most, in a lot of ways, he's at the same time the most irresponsible and the most responsible person in this band. So like, when I mean irresponsible, he parties harder than most people, anybody should. First of all, but more than anybody I know, second of all. But third of all, he does fucking collect all the rent from us. He gets the van fixed. He got the van. He books the shows. He promotes the shows. He got us this podcast. It was his idea to go out to Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. He made the fucking merchandise. He made the box that the merchandise comes in. The motherfucker is like, he's done it all, but wipe our asses. He's, why do I put up with Sean's shit? Because of all this. Because he puts up with our shit. He's always fucking wrangling us. Please, dude, fucking have rent. That can't be easy to do that to 4 motherfuckers and then to keep the fucking landlord away. And God bless him, man.
When you say rent, you guys live together?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, it's true, man. It's always true. And I tell everybody that too. Even when, Alex and Sean had a little friction. We've all had friction with Sean. It's like, my first fucking meeting. Oh, dude, it's the truth. But he's worth it. He is worth it.
All right, enough of this Sean shit.
He paid me fucking $100 on the side to say that shit, so I had to fucking do it.
All right, let's get the last member here.
Hi. So my name is Alejandro, like everybody knows. I like Aaron. Actually grew up in a small town, not too far from here. Actually, Salinas, California. Everybody probably heard some about it. Probably mostly like gang related or something. But I was born in Mexico. Pretty much lived there until I was 8, 9.
Where in Mexico?
Morelos. That's where actually 20 minutes away from Emiliano Zapata, like where Emiliano Zapata lived and created the revolution. So I come from a very historic town. Morelos is like the smallest state in Mexico. People think it's Morelia, which is not. It's Morelos. And grew up there with my dad. My mom split and she came to the United States. And years after, she brought me here, and I landed in Salinas. And I think, once I landed in Salinas, I just pretty much no English whatsoever. So I started it was a big shock because my life was I never even thought of United States in any way, shape, or form, and then all of a sudden here, from the time they told me you're going to go with your mom, because they wanted me to have like the normal things as a second citizenship, as well as the benefits of this country. And, so when I came here, it was a big shock, a big shock. It's no English whatsoever. I didn't even understood the style of how kids live, the way they gang, with each other, the way they interact with them. So it was kind of hard for me a couple years. So I think that's what was my first push into music, because I was very lonely at some point. I was very lonely, had no friends. I couldn't speak to friends or anybody. I didn't want to make too much, like friendships either. So I think one thing that I missed a lot of my dad, but he was he worked, none of my family, nobody in my family plays music, but my dad loved Creedence Clearwater and the Beatles. So I grew
The Beatles?
up, the Beatles and Creedence Clearwater. So I grew up listening to from wherever I can remember.
Did your dad speak English?
No, he doesn't. But and he loved that. He loved Creedence a lot. And the Beatles, he had all the albums, and that's what I grew up listening to. Pretty much the Beatles and Creedence.
That's a local band too. It's Clearwater Revivals. They're different.
Yeah,
They're East Bay.
Clearwater
Like
Revival,
fucking
really
Noel.
badass band. So I grew up listening to that, and then around that time, my mom bought me a little boombox. And I had an acoustic guitar that I think I got at a yard sale, because Salinas was big for yard sales, and we would go. And I got this guitar, and my neighbor, he played like Mexican country music type of stuff, and he tuned my guitar for me. And then I remember listening to radio, and I would hear like a song, and I don't know if pretty much people remember this, but in boombox you could hear record, and you would record the song that's playing on the radio over like a cassette that you pre-own. And I would do that. I would record the songs, and I would listen over and over and try to come up with the riff, because I never actually took classes, and I've never been until today. I don't know music theory. It's just me. Just my ideas of what I think sounds good, and just playing with the instrument itself.
So you were self-taught.
Yeah. Absolutely. Self-taught. All the instruments that I play today have just been self-taught, which is, which is good. But sometimes, like once you're in a band, and, some people have more theory, like in this case, Aaron understands theory. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to communicate, but I found that some happy mistakes or happy accidents happen because of that, because of my lack of understanding some of the theory. I tend to go very crazy on my thinking, and sometimes I come up with ideas that may not be like what you're structurally understanding or you're comfortable with, but can be very, very, very moving in a way. It can work, in its own magical way. So that's pretty much, I grew up in Salinas. I started playing on my own at home, and then I met these guys in school that spoke. I met this kid in school that had a brother that played music, an older brother. And because Salinas, it's very big. It's a town of, like workers, Mexican workers, because it's the town where there's a lot of strawberry picking, vegetables and whatnot. There's a lot of Mexicans that come from every part of Mexico. And funny enough, a lot of people that listens to rock. So the rock scene was pretty big in Salinas, even though it was a very small town. And rock in Spanish, right? And I remember meeting this friend's brother, and he played in a band. And I said, hey, would you mind teaching me, like songs that you're playing? And these guys play only covers. And they needed a drummer then. And that's where I started playing. I started playing
the
drums. And we used to do covers of punk and covers of like Mexican urban style rock. And then we used to call the band was called the Strawberry Boys, because Salinas Strawberry Boys. Believe me, we were thinking that we thought it was very philosophical. Oh, the strawberry fields from the Beatles, because that was my idea. Strawberry fields. And also because Salinas, one of my dearest childhood memories was like opening the doors of opening the windows in the morning at any place in Salinas that you live. You open the window and you would get this beautiful fragrance of fucking strawberries every morning for like a couple months during the year. So I just thought, oh, the Beatles, Strawberry Fields. Oh, we're from here. What do we call the Strawberry Boys? So,
I think we should have write a song called Strawberry Boys,
We sound
or
really
like an
bad.
album title. Yeah. You know, also too, it's funny about most people in the punk community. They can't stand the Beatles. They talk a lot of shit about the Beatles. There are a lot of fucking haters.
Yeah, I don't like the Beatles.
There-
either.
see, there you go. There's a lot of there's a lot of haters in the punk community, and a lot of people. But the Beatles, whether you like them or not, they're the origin for a lot of shit. You can thank them for all the drugs they did because they brought a lot of psychedelia into rock and roll, but they also brought that kind of that fast. Early Beatles got a lot of that fast punk rock pace.
Well, I don't like the Beatles because I feel like they stole this. They stole like the sound of like old, those old black fucking rock and roll people back in the days.
Oh, like
who
Chuck Berry
who,
and-
who weren't on
yeah.
TV, but the Beatles were on TV. So yeah,
Like,
well, it's just like Elvis. I
what it
view
is?
the Beatles like Elvis.
Yeah, but Elvis was, I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but I mean, from what I understand, because I listened to, I was a big fan of Public Enemy, and he's like, Elvis was a racist, and fuck him and John Wayne, and like, but if you hear a lot of people, they'll say like Elvis grew up in a black town and played with a lot of black artists and traveled with a lot of black artists. I'm not going to defend Elvis Presley because he don't fucking need me, But the bottom line is like, yeah, the Beatles too. John Lennon is a fucking major reason why Jimi Hendrix even got famous. Sadly, I'm not saying this right that Jimi Hendrix needed John Lennon. Shout out to Jimi Hendrix too, 101st Airborne Division, my fucking brother. But Jimi Hendrix
was on
got
the podcast.
famous in London. Like what's that? Jimi Hendrix what?
I'm just. I said Jimi Hendrix come on the podcast.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix, when you're available, please come on a Everyday Celebrity Podcast. Yeah. But yeah, they were champions of other people's music too. But there was a lot of they were not the only band playing that kind of music, but they were a package that people liked because everybody was, and the Beatles, early Beatles playing in Europe, fucking greased up hair and shit like Elvis. They look like fucking. They all look like greasers, like from the outsiders. But then they got their haircuts and they just did something different. So it's like it could be as simple as that to make yourself stand out. They were just desperate fools trying to stand out. But they were fucking good band. They were tight, like. But a lot of people, just fucking can't stand them. I don't know. Maybe they got it too good. I think that's it.
When you were in Mexico, what was your? Did you have a big musical influence in Mexico?
I think I did not. At that point, I made the mistake of not maybe opening my eyes to what's surrounding me, musically wise. But I was always very connected with the history of where I came from because literally one of the great things of my town is that everybody actually, you go into anybody's house and they'll still have like pictures of their grandfather that fought in the war, in the revolution against either the Mexican revolutions or when we fought against the French. So it was I grew up in a very proud region of the country where, it was kind of cool to do that. And to be honest, the most music the music that I would actually surround myself would be Creedence and the Beatles at that time and to that moment because I really loved it. To be honest, that's one of the things I think I love about music, that it's a magical substance that has no beginning or end, and it doesn't discriminate in any way, shape, or form. Because whether you know who they are, because at that point I didn't know who the Beatles. I didn't even know one of them was already dead or anything like that. I didn't even know any of them.
You're like, I love this new band, the
I
Beatles.
just love their music, and I love their music. And also, like Creedence Clearwater, came to know later that they were actually country. I didn't even know what they were.
From Northern California, though. Yeah.
To me, they sounded fucking cool. They sounded really cool. The catchy rhythm, the catchy beats, the drums, everything I loved about them. I think nothing really. My awakening happened here in the United States when I saw that.
How old were you when you first came here again?
I was about 9 or 10.
9. Did you, when you were in Mexico and then when you came here, did you have any views about the United States before you came here?
I mean,
did you think, I'm coming to a racist place, or did you think I was coming to like?
The idea then was actually very narrow. It was more like, I'm gonna go to the dream country, the place where Disneyland is, the place where I can go see Michael Jordan. Around that time, Michael Jordan was pretty big or just finished, and that he was.
Did you see Michael Jordan?
No, I did on his shoes.
About to be
I did on
jealous.
his shoes. I did on.
That's the best thing. I got the shoes.
I
yeah.
did on his shoes that I ended up throwing away because they were too big. They were like a boot.
You threw Jordans away. People were
wow,
getting
that's
killed for
great.
those things.
Exactly.
You
That's
threw away
what I was gonna say.
fucking
Like,
A.
Were they the real Jordans or the Mexico
fucking
Jordans?
no,
Yeah.
the real Jordans, but actually,
You know the Mexico's Jordans, they got the Jordan sign has 3 legs.
Yeah.
They call it like Jordans.
I got him.
Jordans.
And apparently today they'll be very lucrative if I sell them to someone. But yeah. So no, it was. I actually had no. I never heard anything bad. About the States.
Was it easy for you to make friends and fit in?
No, not really, because it's very different from growing up in Mexico. Very, very.
You think it's
very
because
different.
of the language barrier, basically?
No, not
or because you were
actually that.
Mexican.
Not because I'm Mexican. It's just because if I was from Latvia or Russia or anywhere else, I think every country has its essence of how you grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came here, it felt to me very cold. Like people were very cold. Like, like no matter how when I started making friends and I had like really great relationships, they still never felt it never felt that camaraderie that I grew up with my friends in Mexico at that point. So there was a couple ideas that I quite like. So today I still feel like, oh wow, like that's very different from what I normally would do or how would I normally behave. Also behavior of kids at that time. Now, when I was older, I was able to meditate a little bit more on it, and I realized that everybody here was more impressionable. Like somebody would see something on TV, and that would be it. Like everybody will follow what was like. I've noticed like the way everybody dressed, the way the music that people liked at that time. It was very like forward on TV or forward on what they were shown by somebody else instead of like having their own tribes and coming up with their own ideas or their own themselves, who they are growing up. It was more like somebody's shaping you instead of you shaping yourself or giving you the tools to find who you are and then go from there. So that was a little bit difficult because for some reason, I've never been a person that likes to fit in with everybody, no matter who they are or what they do or how much I like them. If I don't agree with something you say and it affects me directly and I care for you, and I know that it's not good for you or vice versa, I would make it. I would say something or, so that was, I think, the coming up from Mexico to here that it was a little bit difficult for me.
Were you in a band before you joined this one?
No, actually, my story was a little different. I started playing music again it's going to be close to 2 years, a year and a half it's going into. I didn't play music for many years before this, but I just I stopped doing what I was pursuing in my career wise, and I decided to I've always loved instruments. It's like a happy medium to me. So I started my own studio where I got my bass, my drums, synthesizers, guitars, everything to produce music, and I just started going again. I felt like it was at this point in my life I needed somewhere where I could call my escape from the world. And that's what I did. Pretty much started a place. I started making my own music, and I do play all the instruments. And I found a way I found my way little by little with technology to not need people to play music. However, I started coming into the like blocks and of like, oh wow, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I do need to collaborate with more people to extend my ideas. I can't just be in here all the time, just thinking that what I'm writing, maybe it's perfect or something like that. And that's how, I started opening myself to see like those little websites you find, like musicians seeking other musicians and things like that.
That's what I was going to say. That's how we met. I posted an ad on Craigslist. It wasn't even for this band. It was for me trying to just kind of see what else was out there and what other musicians were interested in starting another thing. And then he came.
So that's what your ad said?
Pretty much. It was just like trying to, it was pretty like.
Cheat on the back. Yeah, fucking cheat on us behind our back.
Exactly. And then I'm like, you know what? You should just play with us. I'm like, I only have so much energy. Like, I really want to.
So when you guys met, did you meet and then he just started playing for you? Or did you?
I sent them our music and they just came to band practice. I'm like, you should just learn some of these songs and just come to band practice because we were going to do something different.
So before you even knew he could play, you accepted him in the band?
Well, I mean, we didn't accept his band. He came in an audition.
Oh, okay.
It was more like, I remember the ad was for a bass player, and I remember we talked about me coming to the studio. He sent me the music, and around that time, I had a friend that was having a little life problem, and
Oh yeah, that's right.
I feel like I'm also kind of like, I don't know if that's something that I developed from living here, or how big the impact of me moving from a country and learning to a new country, learning a new society rhythm. But I'm a person that actually I stay away from friends. Like when I have a friend, like I know you're my friend, but we don't talk. I don't talk to them. I don't reach out. But whenever you have a problem, no matter if I haven't talked to you in a year, I'm the kind of guy that says, where do you need to be? How much you need, or what do you need? Like, I'm that type of person, but I don't stay close. So this friend decided, like, had a problem. So I had to, like, blow him up. I said, oh, shit, I can't go. And I was thinking to myself, like, maybe it didn't work out. But he was
show up to first practice.
Great start. Yeah. Fucking great start.
And he actually didn't show up to the first show either.
Damn. And you still stuck by.
I'll tell you about it in a second. But yeah, so I didn't. But then the next time when I came in, he's like, just learn this. And it was for a bass player. So I came with my bass. And I remember, I walk in, and it was Sean was the one that received me. Aaron wasn't there yet, but Fonsa was there, and I remember seeing him. Like he wears this green jacket with a million patches, and he looked very impressionable. I was like, "Oh shit, look at this rock stars right here."
That's right, man. You got to go out every day. You step out the door.
We just play, and I remember it was fun. It was nice and fun, and this is music that I don't really gravitate too much these days. Not that I don't like it. I love punk. Don't get me wrong. It's just not where my mind is these days, or so I thought. And then over the months that we've been together, 2 months, I think it's been, or less than that. It's been as I think. I think I'm a person that needs to do things, needs to be inside. I cannot just make a decision like that to play with the band. I had to, like, just go over the band over and over and over to start liking everything. And now I feel like, I start to like all the songs. Before, maybe like a few or not all of them. And now I started, like, to understand, and liking it and feel it. And that's, so it's working out better.
Yeah.
So your first audition was that bass guitar?
Yeah. With the
Okay.
bass.
I would try to explain that away to Marco, but I know that Marco ain't gonna fucking listen to this shit, so no fucking need to cover for Marco. Well, fucking good on you. I'm glad that we got to keep Marco, who was a fucking good bass player, and I'm glad that we get Alex's fucking, and that actually means that makes sense in terms of too about band chemistry and people staying on or getting off the band is it's more than just show up, play, pay your fucking rent too. It's like it's a very organic process, man. Nobody's in charge of anyone else's instruments. We may have a suggestion. Hey, Sean, can you speed it up here? Or there's going to be suggestions, but you are in charge of creating your own fucking part. So depending on who I'm playing with, if you are an uninspired musician, you're giving me back crap. We had some fucking jabroni come and audition for us, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of done playing live shows. I'm like, why the fuck did you answer this fucking ad? You done trying to play live shows. We should put your ass out to pasture, man. We're trying to make it, motherfucker, and you're just trying to hang it up.
By the way,
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
weird.
I remember.
What do you get to offer, man? You got nothing.
I remember you guys saying before me they auditioned like 13 guys before or something
I
like
don't
that.
know, bro. I mean, might as well been,
that many.
not that many, but like, yeah, I started to lose heart, man, after that fucking last guy's like, oh yeah, I kind of done playing shows. I play with this band and this fucking band and this band. I'm like, well, fuck me then. You should just fucking go off somewhere and fucking die. And they're like, no, why the
sometimes-
fuck you even answer the goddamn call, motherfucker? You answered the bat signal and you don't even want to put your fucking bat suit on. You'd rather fucking stay at home and be Bruce Wayne.
Question. So we went through all the four of you guys' stories. All the pieces of the puzzle came together, right? What was the first, and anyone can answer this, or all of you guys, what was the first song that you guys collectively recorded together?
I think since we joined the band different times, everybody's probably going to have a little bit of a denser answer. For me, it was like, I don't think I could have anything to contribute to this band. I don't think that this is the band for me. And then, I was going home to see my mom. She was sick from cancer. And like, I had that fucking Hey Ho jingle stuck in my head. Hey Ho is a really catchy song, like a lot of our songs. And I wrote the lyrics in like fucking 2 minutes.
You're saying Hey Ho. What the fuck is that?
Hey Ho is a song. Hey Ho is not like...
Is that Monsters of Men?
No. It's basically, it's an ode to the Ramones. The Ramones would say, "Hey, ho, let's go." So it's not like you're shouting the girl on the street, But basically, it was just it's a battle call, and it was fucking 2 minutes. I'd written this song these lyrics to the song, and it was basically about everything that we're about in San Francisco. It was like, you know, I go out and I drink and drug, I pay my bills and wash my clothes, work my job and blow my wad until my money's gone to hell. So it was like a manifesto, you know, like, and that was for me. I was like, oh shit, this is the band for me. And then Street Rat came up next, and they would fucking, man, this used to drive me crazy. They'd titled the songs before they had any words written to them. So I'm like, so you just decided that you're not even a fucking lyricist. You're going to call this song Blood Bunny. Like, and I got to fucking write some lyrics to this shit, but I have no interest in this fucking Bloody Bunny. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's laughing because he's the culprit. But yeah, I mean, like, I was like, that limits me, man. So like, I mean, then I was like, well, you know, I don't even have to fucking mention a Blood Bunny at all. You know, like I can just write whatever.
So you're saying the first song that you wrote with the band was Hey Ho?
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't really have any songs. There was like, the songs were.
I'm talking about when I say the first song, I'm talking about when all four of you guys sat down and be like, oh, we're going to create this one song.
Well, see, I think yeah,
I know
it's the first one that we had that's all written by us.
It's a song called Genetic Decline.
No, but not with him.
Right. No, with him.
I'd say Stay Away.
Stay
He
Awake?
joined
Yeah.
the band recently. So
Is it Stay Awake or Stay Away?
yeah, we have new music coming out. We're gonna record
Beginning of October.
yeah, beginning of October. And we wrote a bunch of new stuff that he's gonna be playing on.
Yeah, Alex hasn't played a show yet
And
with us.
we're really going crazy with the genres now.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing
But the very first song was Riding Dirty. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, Right Dirty goes, oh man, it was gibberish. It was like somebody was having a fucking, a severe fucking, epileptic seizure. You know, I mean, when Dylan would make up words, he wasn't even actually saying English. We don't even know what the song is about. But I swear to God, that was what I was dealing with. So I was like, I got nothing to work with here. You know, like, but Hey Ho was the first structured song. And it was like, it's a catchy ass fucking tune. We opened many shows with it. People love it. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. And then we had the song called Street Rat. And I was like, they just titled it Street Rat. I was like, why the fuck are you calling this song Street Rat? But it was actually the best fucking title because that song, I was like, man, now we got some like some substance in it because that song is about how the world looks down at you and the people in power are going to speak down to you and tell you you're a piece of shit when they're the ones robbing you blind. They're the ones fucking cheating and stealing on you. So, I mean, the song has got these lyrics like, the pieces of shit that told me I was a shame are two-faced and itching to rob you of all you saved, and they have the fucking balls to call us hangers on. I hold my head up so they can see me walk tall. And baby, if I'm a street rat, then a street rat I'm proud to be. And baby, if I'm a street rat, I'm the king. You know, and it's like, I was like, damn, dude, okay, now we're talking here. You know, a lot of punk is just like, fuck this, fuck that. But it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? You know, like, fuck this, fuck that, but what are you going to do about it? So this is I feel like Dead River Rebels is a call to arms. It is, man. It's like, rise up, man. Let's fucking take this, you know?
So you have, how many members in this band? 4 or 5? Five. So you have 5 people. I don't know the other person that's not here. But we have
if you saw him.
We have one person from Mexico. We have another person whose your family is from Chile, right?
Yeah.
Montana. Fresno. Where's your family originally from?
They're from the area, but they're also Mexican.
Okay. So we have these different cultures, right, all coming together that influenced you guys, right? And then when it comes to creating a sound, how do you guys accomplish that? Because I mean, you have a person from Mexico, and his culture influences probably the way. Tell me if I'm wrong, but your culture influences the way you play a guitar. If you take a Spanish person, the way they play a guitar is different from the way a fucking motherfucker from Seattle plays a guitar.
I think that's what he adds to it too. You know, is like that's what he adds to the band is his own unique take on it. So when I was saying that, like, you're responsible for your own instrument, so it's very important who is in this band is a creative mind because nobody's really going to tell them what to play. You know, so.
But basically what I'm asking, what if someone, like, let's say Montana doesn't like the Spanish guitar vibe,
right?
And let's say he says, "Fuck, I don't."
Well, we're taking into account.
I don't like that sound.
We're taking into account.
How do you guys work through
majority rule, bro? Like, we'll take it into account, but you know, like I always say, like, hey, if you're gonna have a suggestion about something somebody else wrote, you got to have a very compelling reason why. You know, like, you know, not because you like it's not good enough in this band. You know, if you're talking about somebody else playing their instrument and doing what they want with their instrument, so we just do it's democratic. We're like, you know, most of us think this is cool. Can you just give it a shot? You know, like we do have these discussions, but they're always democratically solved.
Has there ever been?
I've-
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say also. I think one of the things that differentiates me from how they actually think or the way they write is that also my style of playing is very out there. Like I do actually mess with a lot of pedals and different sounds and modulations. And,
Yeah.
I actually my
Psychedelic,
style
man.
of playing is. It's very, very out there. One of the bands that actually opened my ass and wanted me to experiment, and the reason why I became a multi-instrumentalist is the Mars Volta. Following the idea of Omar Rodriguez Lopez, which is actually the first time that I ever saw someone be the leader of the band and the guy that writes everything. And that's when I listened to this band called the Mars Volta, and I think I got into
They're dope.
it
You should check them out. Yeah.
because it was lead by the singer was Mexican and the guitarist was from Puerto Rico, and I saw an interview, and I also saw an interview that this guy played everything. He actually wrote the whole thing from drums to bass to guitars to pianos to everything, and he would just have great musicians come over and play the parts, and he wouldn't even tell them anything. He would just say, "Oh, you're the bass player, come here, this is what you're gonna play." It will be like a 30-second thing, and they wouldn't know if it was for the beginning of a song, the middle of a song, or the end of a song, nothing. And then he would just like go into his studio and start like putting it all together. And that kind of like was the time when I started like thinking, wow, like, I have all these crazy ideas in my head and all these sounds that I'm imagining. And that's when I started like thinking, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then I stopped for a while because I had another career, that took me, that never went anywhere, but I went in that journey for several years. And then when I got out of there,
The UFC fight.
I was, well, I wasn't, not a UFC.
Wait a
I
minute,
was
wait
an
a
MMA
minute.
fighter.
You're a what?
MMA.
MMA? You? Okay.
I know, man. Look at this fucking misfits, man. But actually, so our name is Dead River Rebels, and the reason why is because dead rivers are thousands of Native American riverbeds, man, in the United States, and they don't no longer have running water. They're dry riverbeds, but they all interconnect. We're all from different places, so it's the most appropriate name that we all converged. We converged in the Bay Area. That sounded like a fucking car wreck. Did you hear that? Somebody fucking wrecked their car. Damn. Man,
That's a normal
yeah.
sound in
That's
West
a
Side.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's like, no, he's like, that's just drug
just a
Jerry.
pothole
Yeah.
or something.
So yeah, I mean, like it's very appropriate because we all bring something different. And that's why I think the band is so good. I also think it's the reason why the band is so eclectic. I've heard people that we look up to, other bands from the Bay Area, that said, "Man, you guys are so eclectic." That's not a word that's used in a lot of our genres of music, hard rock, metal, or punk rock. You don't really hear the word eclectic a lot. Like people not willing to experiment outside the norms of what they think that genre is. But Alex brought this really fucking great psychedelic sound to this middle section of Anarchy that you didn't get to hear because when you hear the electronic version, he'll do this trippy. It's like a descent into hell, this one part of the song, so it already brings some unique flavor too, but you gotta have some people, they come to audition for the band, they're fucking dead inside. I'm like, dude, you get out of here. You're like, I mean, like these guys are very passionate about music. But we're also like, you got to have the right head too, man. You can't be, we had some guys in here couldn't keep their cool, couldn't keep a level head. Who the fuck's going to collaborate with you, man? Like that's a good way to get your fucking ass ostracized and fucking kicked, so, I mean, it was just like, it has to be the right people. And I think that this is the right group. This is a fucking great group.
It's a fun mix, I
yeah.
think. That's what I tell my wife because, like I write my own music in my studio and I record it and I put it in little places and my project is called The Room Waves. But like my wife and I would talk about how this is actually exciting me again in a different way. I'm starting to get more and more excited as the weeks go by and we get closer to the first show. Well, this is officially our first show as a band today, but as we get to like a live performance, I'm getting more excited because it's definitely allowing me to ride with them and they're allowing also sometimes we butt heads on some ideas, but for most of the part they're very receptive to what I do and what I bring and they're not putting like any chains on what I do and I agree with them on the fact that I love their ideology that whatever works for the song is for the song.
And on that tangent about the live shows, I want to talk about some of
Yeah, we got to promote a little bit if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jordan, yeah.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, on the 28th of this month, we're playing at Toots Tavern in Crockett, which is 28th on Sunday. At the day show starts at 4 p.m. On the 1st
Toots Tavern.
of September, we're playing at Winter's Tavern in Pacifica. On the 10th of September, we're playing at the Blue Lagoon in Santa Cruz with Speed Demon, which is going to be really awesome. On the 23rd of September, we're playing back again at Winters. That's a Gremlin Music Productions production, which is my production company that I do. We're playing with the 151. And
That's a good
then
band.
also on the 22nd of October, Gremlin Music Productions is having its first festival called Gremstock. And that is going to be on the 22nd, and that's all day, all night, free show, 13 different bands. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
That's gonna be bonkers,
it's
man.
going to be all
Yeah.
different types of music. We're pretty excited about that.
People become werewolves at those shows, man. Like everybody's a different person during the day, and then the fucking sun goes down. Now the guy that you were talking to is now eating his own fucking shoe. You're like, man, this motherfucker was lucid 2 minutes ago. Yeah. It's gonna be nice, man. Check it out. Our shows are I gotta say this too. You know, like with all respectfully, a lot of humility. We're really lucky to have people come to our shows. We're lucky to meet the bands we meet. But while we strive to be the best we can, I swear to God, I don't ever want to play a show where I come off that stage and I feel just fucking energized. If I don't feel absolutely fucking spent, then I've not done my job. So if you come and see us fucking play, you get a band that gives you fucking 110% every time. Doesn't matter if there's 2 people in the fucking audience and your creepy uncle, we'll give you fucking 110% all the time. We'll give your fucking uncle to 110% every time. But we fucking go there we just go for broke, man. And I think that's why we got a good reputation. We are, in my opinion, the best fucking live band around. So come fucking check us out. But we also got good taste, man, because we play with a lot of other fucking great live bands, man. We play with a lot of great guys. There's a great community out there, man, of people. And we're lucky to have it, man. It's fucking tough to be a musician in the Bay Area, man. Everybody's fucking exodusing out of here like they're fucking leaving Egypt, man, and fucking going for higher ground, you know, but we got to keep the music alive, man. We got to keep bringing it. We got to find people, give people a reason to go out and say, well, fuck, that was totally worth it, you know?
Before we move on, I'm sorry. Can I clarify something? I never fought in the UFC. I became a pro fighter, but I was just a pro fighter that never got to make it to the big show. So.
You're in a Mexican.
He thought about this for a little bit. He's like, he's like, everybody in my gym's gonna fucking blow me up.
No,
Like,
I want
You were in a Nacho Libre?
Everybody's gonna start googling the roaster.
hey, shout out to your gym. Which one is it right now?
Well,
Or
at that point, right now,
couple other ones,
right
couple
now I'll be,
gyms.
training with Gilbert Melendez, Melendez Academy.
Yeah, that's
El Nino
right.
Academy.
Gilbert, shout out.
Question.
El Nino.
So I want everyone to answer this separately. So I have 2 questions basically. So you go down the list. What's your favorite genre of music? Just give me a 1-word answer.
Rock and roll. It encompasses all what we do. Rock and roll.
Okay.
Punk rock, I guess.
Punk rock. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say rock and roll encompasses it all. I love all sorts of types of music.
Okay.
I would say experimental music, anything that has no real like reason why to be together.
I expected nothing less. That's good. It's a fucking Alex answer.
All right, so everyone has their favorite genre. Okay, now this is the second question I want answered individually. What decade do you think is the best of your genre of music?
Well, I mean, I could go with either the 60s, but I'll say the 90s because
And tell me why.
the 90s because it's a personal choice because it made an impression on me. I wasn't born and raised in the 60s. That was a different generation. But the people that influenced me got their inspiration from the 60s. So when I listen to like Oasis is my favorite band, they were the dopest band in my opinion out there because they were the first band that really didn't pay to play and do all that shit. They refused to do meet and greet with Tower Records. They were fucking refused to kiss anybody's ass. They actually were the first band to get creative control on their first record contract. You never fucking did that. On your first record deal, never got creative control. On the first album, they got it. They took less money and banked on themselves by going with the smaller independent label, Creation Records, best fucking record label. And that was in England. But these motherfuckers, they were pretty looking. They had style, but they were cocky as fuck. And they didn't give a fuck what you thought. And they said it on camera, dude. Like Liam Gallagher, the singer of Oasis, the only person ever to walk off on TRL, just fucking dropped the mic on Carson Daly and just fucked the fuck off mid-interview. Because he didn't like what they had to say. So people thought they were divas. But honestly, the music, the first song on the first album is called Rock and Roll Star. You say that shit, you're like calling your shot. You're fucking calling your shot. You're calling for the fence. You're saying this one's going over the wall. You haven't sold a record yet, and your first song is Tonight I'm a Rock and Roll Star. If you fucking bomb, you're never going to live that down. You will never play a fucking show again. They called their shot, dude. How do you not respect that? and they would fucking talk about all the shit nobody was talking about. So they'd have songs, they'd sneak in fucking drug references like, you can wait for a lifetime to spend your days in the sunshine, you might as well do a white line, because when it comes on top, you got to make it happen. But it was all positive. You got to make it happen. You got to roll with it. You got to say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way. So that made a fucking
I
big
can
impression
understand
on
why
me.
you the lead singer, because the passion in your voice.
I feel like
is
I'm cutting a
crazy.
I feel like I'm cutting a wrestling promo right now, dude. Because I'm passionate about it, man. It gets
You
my
got
blood
me
up.
pumped up right now.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I get passionate. I'm sorry.
Wait until you see him on stage.
Wait till you.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't give me no fucking blow, dude. I'll
If
fucking.
you're
I'm dead
passionate
sober
like
right
this, I can imagine how you are on stage.
now. This is I give him my all. Aaron.
I'm really partial to the '90s, but I'm still gonna go 2000s. Just
Why?
because that's what I grew up on. Is
There you
like emo. And
I mean,
like,
you got. Wait, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you guys keep saying you grew up on it. I mean, I didn't grow up in the '60s, but I fucking love Sam Cooke and shit.
That's
you know
true.
Oh,
what I'm
I do too. I love.
So
Sam
tell
Cooke.
me
But-
why did these bands in the 2000s?
but it was just because the people I hung out with listened to
Okay.
that stuff.
Okay.
And that's like what I always gravitated towards. Like we were weird kids in high school, and we were like outcasts, like weren't popular. We didn't like fucking, we would just hang out in like the corner of the school and like fucking talk about Magic the Gathering and shit. And we wanted all the outcast music, and that's what was popping at the time. Like there was a lot of kids who were craving that like escapism and like also like the whole like fashion style around it was really cool.
What bands were like the soundtrack of your life? Give me some examples.
My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, and going into punk rock, I guess like Leftover Crack, No Effects, a lot of hardcore bands like Suicide Silence, Under Oath, a lot of these and that's kind of, and I say punk rock just because everyone like back then, there's a lot of like homophobic bullshit, but also like fucking people, separated themselves. Like if you were like a punk rocker or a metal fucking guy, you didn't like this shit, but like
Very cliquish.
yeah, but like every one of those bands played with punk rock bands, played on punk rock festivals, were influenced by punk rock from like the 90s and the 70s, and then like, it's all in the same lane. So I just kind of like threw that out there, but yeah.
So those bands you think were better than bands in like the 80s and
Oh yeah,
like the Nirvanas and
because they took what
the
they did.
Metallicas and shit.
They took what they did and innovated it on top of it.
That's not
And
to
like-
say that Michael Chemical Romance is better or Fall Out Boy is better than Nirvana. Let's just make that clear.
I mean, well, he might
I actually
he
do-
might
actually-
feel they are.
He doesn't speak for the band, just to let you guys know. Like-
Yeah, of course. This is his
Because-
personal.
Because as good as fucking Kurt Cobain was,
So are
like,
you
the dude-
saying
the dude
Nirvana
just had-
sucked?
the dude.
Wait a minute. We need this. We
I'm
need
not
silence. We need silence. Are
not
you
to-
saying because you're gonna have a lot of
No, I'm
white
fucking-
boys mad at you? Are you
I'm
saying
ready.
Nirvana was a horrible band?
I'm not saying they were horrible. I like Nirvana, but it's just like that shit.
That's
had
not a
its
yes or
time,
no,
and
right?
it went out. Like listening to fucking Nirvana.
Is
or
Nirvana
listen to,
a good band to
Listen
you?
to Nails or like
Or is Nirvana a good band? to you?
Nirvana is a good band,
Okay,
but
but they're not.
but they inspired bands that took what they were doing. No, I'm fucking. I don't give a fuck.
You don't got to be politically correct.
like
if you
it, I
think
like
they
it.
suck,
I don't
just
give a
say-
fuck.
it.
The
Yeah.
youngest
if you
of the
think
band.
they suck, say they fucking suck.
I don't think they suck. I think the Sex Pistols suck though.
Ah, dude, no.
The what?
Who?
He thinks the Sex Pistols suck. They were like one of the
The
punk.
Sex Pistols.
Fucking Anarchy in the UK is way better than fucking what's that Fall Out Boy song? Sugar, we're going down, swing. Okay, you get this
Oh, yeah?
fight, man. I love you, dude. Okay, this
Yeah.
is your question. Now.
I mean, also we gotta
They-
put in consideration.
But
that
they.
Sex Pistols.
Okay, I'm just saying it to be edgy. The Sex Pistols have some good songs, but ultimately, it's like they were a bunch of drunk idiots who just fucking played whatever they could and put together what they could,
It's like half the punk
and
rock
they
bands out
fucking took that shit and made a whole fucking new genre out of it. So I got
thank you.
respect to that, but fuck John Lydon is fucking Make America
there. Yeah,
Great
he's
Again
nuts
hat.
now.
And then
All right.
Aaron
anyway,
is also 25. He's a young.
Sean.
Yeah, obviously.
And Sean, speaking to the mic.
Okay.
Please.
What the question is? The genre. Of
You told me your favorite genre of music. Now I'm asking you what your favorite decade of that genre
I'd say
was to you.
probably the 80s.
The 80s,
You know,
okay.
I grew up listening to AC/DC and Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Poison, and that's what I really started playing the drums.
And why? And are you saying that? Are you saying the '80s is the best because of just what you listen to, or because of those bands specifically?
Yeah, I mean, because of those bands specifically. I mean, I think that probably some of the best creative music probably came out of the 60s and 70s, but I think, because the hair bands aren't particularly my favorite bands.
What do you mean the hair bands?
Like Poison and, Bon
hair.
Jovi with the big poofy hair.
Okay, yeah.
Glam rock, what they call it,
Exactly.
right?
I don't
I
particularly love that, but some of that drumming is really awesome, and that that always resonates with me is when I can really connect to the drumming, and that's why I really love AC/DC because he's not a flashy drummer. He's not overly excessive. Whatever he does, it's very solid, and it's really taught me to try and play the same beat for 16 measures, 32 measures. It's almost impossible sometimes because everybody wants to do a fill or something here and there. But some of those super solid drummers do tat, do cat. It just goes and goes and goes. And when he's not trying to be flashy, he's just part of the song as a collective song. And it just that really resonates with me because it's it just makes the song really amazing because he's not this flashy drummer trying to be crazy. He's just really solid, and it's just like the train that's just pushing through it, and that really resonated with me in that aspect.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Short and
I
sweet.
grew up listening to the Beatles and CCR. Those were some of my, growing up with my dad, we were driving and listening to cassette on the, and Yellow Submarine and that sort of shit. And so, my first dog's name was Ringo or stuff like that. So that had a big influence on me. But now I don't really listen to the Beatles. It kind of bothers me a little bit, and partially because I've listened to it too many times. But I don't really connect with the drumming as much. For me, when I want to play the drums and I sit down behind my drum set, I want some music with feeling behind it that really makes me want to fucking practice for hours. And when I'm done, I'm dripping in sweat. I'm like, yes, that kind of music inspires me.
You ever seen that movie Whiplash?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's dope.
You like it?
You finally saw it?
Where he's going deaf as my ear is ringing right
Do you like it?
What's that?
Do you like that movie?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what's that? Yeah, he's going. Hey, you know what? I gotta amend my answer, man. I think he's fucking right. The '80s were fucking amazing.
Nah,
man.
you can't change your answer.
Why not? It's fucking Jeopardy. I can't change my answer. No. But I mean, you think about it, man. The '80s had new wave. They had fucking hip hop came out. Hip hop really blew up in the '80s. You had metal bands. The '80s gave it all, man. Fucking '80s. Shout out '80s, dude.
So you're
Fucking
changing.
flocking.
You're
I
changing?
think I have to, man. Just based on volume and quality. I mean,
Still,
you know,
I'm still not over. You said Nirvana.
Hey, I gotta
Nirvana
tell you
sucked.
what though, man. AC/DC, they actually that was the slowest music that you still wanted to punch somebody to. They weren't playing super fast, but you still Highway to Hell. You still wanted to fucking hit somebody.
Hey, Aaron, you better watch out. Courtney Love might suit you.
I'm sorry.
All right.
So I thank God I was the last because actually I had a chance to meditate a little bit of it because meditate on their question and their answers. However,
Thanks, man.
I think and I'm gonna sound a little politician style with my answer, but the 2000s were for me the best era or the best decade for me in music due to the fact that I was able, before the 2000s, I think it was a little bit hard for you to be exposed to all these genres before you were even born. Meaning, I think if I was in my teens in the 80s or 90s, I don't think I would have been able to find the records or find the music or get exposed to music from other countries and other things that we're doing. Plus, around the 2000s, I think the revolution of do-it-yourself, music-wise, allowed for a lot of wild minds to expose their music, and I was the recipient of that. The recipient of all this crazy movement of where people just decided that we don't need a record label, we don't need to follow a genre, because like Aaron was saying, like when the grunge came in, everybody wanted to be grunge, regardless of maybe it would have been the most suitable band sound for them. They just went in there, and I think that 2000 was an awakening for everybody to do anything, and technology got better. Like people were more accessible to synthesizers or drum boxes or pedals or anything became more accessible to the musician, where that awoke a lot. And 2000s is when I came across crowd rock. I didn't even know what that was, but apparently crowd rock was a style that was from Germany after the
Kraut rock, yeah.
crowd rock after the whole German situation stopped. Like a lot of the
That's a German situation.
I don't want to call it the wrong thing, so I just leave it at that. So
Look at Jordan.
no disrespect. I know the whole history. Just don't want to call it or
very nice.
get anybody offended in any way. But yeah, when that came, that was like, to me, that was a very interesting style, because krautrock was based on these amazing musicians from Germany that after the destruction of their country,
Scorpions?
they did not have anything to come up with, but they started going wild and they started making these bands. Like there was a drummer and a guitarist, and these guys created the Motor Beat, which this drummer would actually has this really amazing song where this guy plays just drums, just a really quick drum pattern, but he keeps it up for like 10 minutes in this way where it becomes like hypnotizing. And that's the whole concept. That was the whole concept of crowd rock. They didn't have any meaning, but it was very open. And I think that was a very impressionable era for me, due to the fact that I could access anything. Anything was accessible for me. Like the iPod came in, therefore that meant that you had a bank in the computer of music that you can choose from, and all of a sudden you were listening to music from pop from Afghanistan from the 60s that I was like, what the fuck? Like they had amazing like Junos, like synthesizers on it, and like all of a sudden like Thailand. I didn't know those guys had a really amazing style of playing too, and their operas like were so crazy. So I think that's what shaped me into the musician that I am. Therefore, I think regardless of what was playing as that decade, what is defined as that decade music-wise, I think it's got to be seen more as a decade of awakening, of you being able to all of a sudden in a couple minutes go through the whole discography of Led Zeppelin, of Muddy Waters, of different musicians that maybe if you were in the 80s you wouldn't be able, unless somebody had the albums and would let you sit down and listen for hours and hours.
So, man, you're taking the easy way out, dude. That's because of technology. You get access to all the different past decades. I get it.
And like instead of like like a lot of people would say like, oh,
Dude,
that was
too
easy
good.
or something. But I get it. I mean, I'm 35 and that's where I lived, and I think I'm happy. Like even though people get nostalgic about their eras or their decades, I think I'm just more happy that I got to experience all of them. And like today, maybe a kid that's in their teens today, for them this is normal. Oh yeah, I can listen to anything. But in the 2000s was like I remember seeing the first iPod. I was like, holy shit! Like that was groundbreaking in so many.
Yeah, how many
ways.
songs? Like fucking thousands, right?
God knows, but it was so I never owned one because I didn't have money to buy one. Yeah. But my friend had one, and that's how I was starting to listen to things, and that to me was so cool. That's one of the things that I also think about. Nobody will ever be as impressed with the phone again, with the phone again as we were. Because we were the ones that saw the first iPhone.
That is true.
Nobody will ever be as like amazed as like, because one day we don't have a phone. We never heard of a phone that's actually, you can see videos or you can find something. And then a month later we have it. Nobody will ever do that in this era, at least.
It's a deep ass answer, man.
Yeah.
Good job. No, serious. We got philosophers here, man. That's a very thoughtful answer. Fuck.
So let's get into some nasty shit.
Yeah. Fucking finally, goddamn.
So everyone knows rock and roll, the history of like rock and roll bands and shit, drugs and women.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me? I mean, I know you guys are not selling out arenas and shit, but you do shows.
We will. Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
I could see it.
For sure.
Has there ever been a time where there's been like you guys had like groovy situations after the show?
Before and after, yeah. That's one of the perks, man. If you're playing some fucking terrible music, if you can't,
Give me some
it's got to be
goddamn
halfway
stories.
decent just to you can get laid.
Well, Alfonso loves the story when I brought 5 different Tinder dates to one.
He brought like 5 Tinder dates.
one.
All the girls at the bar were really cute, and they were all fucking his Tinder dates. I went up to every single one. I was like, motherfucker, this guy. Very busy, but can you imagine the balls in that? Or 5 different girls, you take it to the same fucking place, and they're sitting next to each other. That was fucking amazing.
What happened with that?
I mean, I fucking.
All sorts of things.
Oh, dude, you don't want to know, bro. I don't even know if we got enough time. But yeah. I'll tell you this, though. There's, for a lot of these guys, he was saying, like, a lot of us weren't popular in high school. Look, if you were popular in high school, you don't play good guitar. You either played good guitar or you were popular in high school. If you were popular, you wouldn't even be having the discipline to sit at home by yourself and practice the guitar. You had to be a reject to be a good instrumentalist or a good musician. I think if you were the captain of the football team, you're probably not fucking
Most of
killing
those
it on the
guys
guitar.
got someone pregnant when before they were 18, and now are like married with like
You were?
8,000 kids.
Wait, what?
No, like all the everyone. No.
Oh yeah, those guys
No, like,
peaked in high school.
Those guys
peaked in high school, right?
Got a
yeah.
bitch pregnant, and then didn't do anything for the rest of their lives.
I at Winners, I'll fucking tell my one naughty story. I had this girl, I screwed her right before I went on stage. My legs were jelly. So I barely walked up the fucking stairs to the stage, man. I was fucking just jelly legs. It was fucking great. It was just like,
doing the mashed
yes,
potato?
dude, that fucking bathroom with the slanted
ceiling.
Yes, that slope ceiling. I hit my head on that ceiling.
You want to give the girl a shout out real quick?
God damn. No, dude. Yeah.
Alfonso's song called.
You know why I
Slap.
can't do that shit? Because I probably sent her some fucking horrible text messages, some dick pics. I mean, she's gonna get me in jail. Yeah. So, shout out to we'll give her a fake name instead.
Do you guys back in the days, like in the 60s and shit, a lot of rockers used to be on drugs and do acid, and that made them write better music. Because it brought them to places where they didn't know they can go, like seeing things, imagining shit. Do you guys, and I don't know if all of you guys do drugs. I mean, if you do, who gives a fuck? But do you guys feel that drugs is a good way to be creative?
I mean, it depends
on
on
what type of
yeah.
drugs.
I was gonna say that, but also like anything like if you look at cocaine, it uses all your feel good chemicals all at once. Sometimes I write some great shit on it, but then you think you're a fucking genius, but then half the time you're just like, oh, that I don't know if I could have been that good without it. I don't know, but I'm very prolific sometimes on it. But I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna fucking get on a microphone and on the record and say like you are better when you do drugs. There's some people that should have stopped a long fucking time ago, man. Maybe even me. But I guess it depends.
Do you
on the
think it
person,
helps?
like,
Like,
I do
I
think
it's-
that we should do some acid
Yeah.
all together and write some music one of these
I think
days
that'd be
and just-
fucking
and just
sick,
have
yeah.
a fun
In a tent?
because we've never
Yeah.
done that. We've done a lot of drugs together. They're usually not the creative inducing kind. They're usually the kind that makes it just.
But I mean, Jordan, that's a good question. But to be honest with you, there are times where you write some really great stuff, and maybe you freed your mind from a place of being very self-conscious. Like that's why people do them, because then you can forget about all your fucking insecurities and all that shit. But you can always go too far, where you take a medication, it helps you out for a little bit. Now you're dependent on it. Now it's fucking you up. Drugs are the same way, man. You can definitely go over the line and go too far. So I think at a certain point, probably when you first started doing them, that was probably the most potent they've ever been. And to a certain extent, you can let go of your inhibitions, and you might say the shit that you always held back because you were too fucking afraid to say it. You didn't want to get on record saying it. In some ways, yeah, I would say just for letting go of your inhibitions and maybe releasing all your chemicals. But I can't sit here and definitively say that you're better with it. There's some guys that wrote some garbage they thought was genius, because they were on fucking drugs.
Most of the songs that I write when I'm sober, actually. But no. I was about to say weed does help sometimes, but sometimes it's too much. But like if I need to focus, I can't be high.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a fucking revelation. If I need to focus, I can't be high.
I mean,
That's true.
like it's because like I need to focus. If I'm gonna write, I need to write, and I need to be like on an idea. And I have ADHD, so I already have trouble focusing. So just adding on top of that, it's not kind of makes it more difficult. But like I'm trying to I have ideas and I want to remember them. So sometimes it's just you just have to just work, you know. But at the same time, acid does sound fun. But I don't know how much writing I'm gonna actually get done, or if it's gonna be any good. But at the same time, when you're in that moment where you're in that haze of like you're just you've been drinking all night, smoked like 3 blunts or whatever, and you're just like something comes to you, and I feel like those like epiphany moments happen more when you're, you know, intoxicated. And
I do have 5 hits of acid, so I can save it for this next time, and we'll do it all together.
Well,
You're gonna
Sean,
write your
answer,
magnum
answer the
opus.
question, Sean. Do you think drugs is it better? Do you think drugs enhances your creativity?
Yeah, I mean, I think smoking weed definitely enhances my creativity. Drinking some alcohol to an extent does. Doing coke fucks my timing, and no. So I think it all depended on mushrooms. If you're microdosing, yes, a little bit. Acid, I've done it a little bit with music, but not too much. But I'd really like to do it as a collective, all of us together, all eating acid at the same time, the same amount, same type of acid. So we're all kind of having the same trip. And I think that would be, whether or not we would get a good song out of it or anything, who knows? But
We need to let him know. We need to let him know what the results were.
Well, I need to record this shit.
a lot of the what I think you get more out of drugs is the experiences while you're on drugs, like meeting you're buying an eighth off of a guy and you meet him in a Taco Bell parking lot at 1 a.m. I've done that several times. Like
You're still buying drugs at Taco Bell?
it was a long time ago. Anyway, but like a lot of the experiences that I have, because in high school I was straight edge and I didn't do anything. I was even like considering like going vegan and like cutting out like all like pleasures and shit because I thought like it made you like, like I used to believe that drugs controlled you and once you did them you lost control, and I didn't want anyone to control me because
You're not wrong.
yeah, but at the same time it's like it's my fucking body. I'm gonna do it whatever I want because I'm gonna die and nothing's gonna fucking matter after that. So, and then, just the craziness of like going out and getting fucked up, like the experiences. You will never have those experiences if you weren't like introduced to that fucking lifestyle in the first place. Even if for me, I don't really go out and party that much anymore. But a lot of those experiences stick with me for the rest of my life, and it'll influence my writing for sure.
That's a great idea. That's a great answer. Like, you'll never know how good sobriety is if you didn't fuck it up. Like, you might not even appreciate it. Just be fucking miserable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that piggybacking on Aaron's answer, because I've been straight edge I went through part of the reason probably why my career didn't pan out as well as I probably could have is I battle a big problem with alcoholism, and when I became sober, like now we're going to 5 years now. I wasn't playing music during that time because I was focused on my career, but when I was young, I was never too drawn to like weed or coke or anything. I did do weed and a little bit of coke, but nothing ever like for like years or expansion of like Vegas or anything like that. And one thing that I think about drugs is I feel like they can help you loosen up, but it's not something you can keep up. Unfortunately, let's say you do some drugs, some acid, and you come up with the fucking badass song, and you're like, oh shit. Then you're gonna start thinking, well, now I have to do it again, so I got to do. And then let's say it starts panning out, but eventually it's gonna catch up to you, and it's not gonna be working because you can't sadly you can't. I mean, that's what happened to. I think that's sadly what happened to the founder of Pink Floyd. He literally like was doing so much acid that he couldn't even keep up the band. So therefore, Gilmer came into the band and he actually became the guitarist, not because the guy couldn't play. He just literally made some badass songs and he kept doing acid to the point that his mind went.
Yeah, some people
So-
do it so much that they think it's the source of their fucking greatness.
Exactly, and therefore-
instead of just using it to unlock it, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking source. And a lot of these people, they do so
Exactly.
much, they think it's the fucking.
And
source
then
of their
sometimes,
power,
you know,
like,
you get too fucking crazy, and you that's, I mean, at least for me, I don't want to speak about anybody else, but if when I was drinking, sometimes I would just like, you know, like play a little guitar, and I would come up with the riff, and then the next day couldn't remember it. So, you know, like what's the whole point of that? Like,
So
I
you're
person-
sober.
I'm sober. Like, I mean, I do recently started like experimenting over the weekends with microdosing with psilocybin, but very, very microdose to the point that you don't even feel it. You don't feel high. You just feel a little bit more happier, but nothing like you don't feel the effect. And I do every now and then a little CBD, but for my joints.
Do you find it hard being in? I mean, you're in a band you're in a band with Sean. Of all people,
I find it. I don't find hard for them to do what they do. Sometimes I find hard to deal with the maybe sometimes, like, let's say somebody's drunk, like, and not necessarily them, but and people in my life too. Somebody's drunk, and therefore because they're drunk, it's hard to deal with them. They're fucking saying stupid things. They're getting in trouble, and you're like sober and try to have to take care of them in a way. Or just the fact that you cannot keep up a conversation, a constructive conversation that will take you somewhere. That I find hard now that I'm sober, because most of the people around my life are not sober, except for my wife. Shout out to my wife. I love you, Jessica. So you know, that I do find hard, you know, not being able to have a conversation with people that I love or care for. And I know that sober, we would have amazing conversations, or we will get things done. Or I would get a good critic from them, or sometimes not necessarily music, but in anything I would say, hey, what do you think about this? But if they're loaded, they can't really give me a real answer. So that I find hard. However, like seeing a beer, seeing a line of Coke or something, not at all.
it doesn't make you
Not
want to
even
like,
a
I
little
need to
bit.
grab it. Okay, I feel that. That's respectable.
I don't think Dead River Rebels could work if we all were as fucked up as the most fucked up of us. You know, like, we definitely need somebody to corral the fucking monkeys.
And we take
Yeah.
our turns getting in and
Yeah,
out
too.
of our
No,
points,
without,
you know?
non-negotiable fucking is sober driving. No, seriously, like, that's a fucking deal breaker, man. Like, if it's your turn to be DD and you fucking fuck up on that, like, I got nothing but fucking.
Well,
I'm
luckily
gonna-
we have a sober person now
Yeah.
in the van.
Yeah.
So I'll drive there.
God bless Alex too, man. He is up for an adventure, man. He'll fucking go out with us to a fucking bar. He'll be like, he'll like, oh, hey, you guys want to check out this? Oh yeah, let's fucking do it, man. Like, and that's probably the best fucking argument for not doing drugs is just like there you get a lot of fucking energy from not depleting your fucking system all the time. God damn, I feel like I'm half the time just trying to fucking recover. You know, fucking A. My Christ.
So,
Yeah.
where do you guys see this band going in the next 5 years, and where do you want it? Like, where do you want this band to be in the next 5 years?
I mean,
what goals?
I'd like to be traveling. I'd like to be traveling the world and playing music. I mean, that's my dream. And whether or not we're on a label, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, everybody wants to be able to be put on a platform where you are seen and heard by more people than just within your small community. But, you know, I would like for us to be traveling through Europe. I'd like to be traveling through South America. I'd like to be playing at bigger stages or opening for bigger bands and, you know, and becoming a bigger band, obviously. But, you know, I like I'm saying, like,
Yeah, I feel
London.
London is calling your name.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
You been in London before?
That's
a great song.
I've been all over Europe, but I'd love to.
London calling.
London, the grunge scene in London, the rock and roll, the underground grunge is big out there.
And we'd love to go to New York City. Our original bassist lives there, and we were always talking about maybe going back. I mean, you know, just wherever this music can take us within traveling or the experiences of the people we can meet, we're very open for it. And luckily, all these people within this band are, I think, lifers in terms of they want to play music for life and they want something to happen with what we're doing. So that's exciting to be around people who are passionate about that aspect of it. And then with that passion, anything can happen because we're all just, you know, we're growing together and we're enjoying each other, you know, as company and as musicians. And I think when that happens, and, you know, like I'm saying, like when Aaron and I play music together, just when we write songs, we click and things just happen like instantaneously sometimes. And that's a special thing. And then it's like when that chemistry happens, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. You know, may I interrupt there? I think exactly what he just said is something that I think is the reason why I'm in this band today. I'm a huge believer on the manifestation to the universe and allowing it to also don't block your own growth. Don't put yourself in front of the things that can be good.
Don't
and
block your
experimental.
blessings.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the fact that I actually, I think sometimes about the fact that from all the bands that were on that website when I found that River Rebels, from all the other bands that were maybe catered to my style a little more, I just decided, without seeing anything, because the ad was very simplistic. I just went for that and decided to keep going on it instead of going somewhere. I just started thinking and I see the will that they have and how amazing they are when we practice and how passionate about it, to a point that sometimes we get in discussions or disagreements just because there's passions, and that allows me to see regardless of whether it's a disagreement, as long as there's passion behind it and it's word along the lines of growth, I like it. And I think that Sean just hits it in the nail, when he talks about how what we're doing here today is something that we all have that dream of, really making it, and we believe it. I believe it, at least. I believe it hard that we're here to do something real. That the stage, it's not far from us.
90% of the time when we're on point, when people see us play it, they're stoked. And that's a good feeling. Every time we play a show, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of people or little people, we usually have new fans every time. Because people are that's awesome. They see our passion. They like our songs. They see our genuinity of us just putting ourselves out there. And I like sincere fans who are just fuck yeah, that was awesome. And a lot of times it's not always people who like punk rock music. It's just people, could be some older woman and some other dude who doesn't look like any type of person who would like this music. And they're yeah, that was really fucking awesome.
That's the best comment we get. We get people that that are solely into hip hop, that are primarily in other things, and when they see us play live, they fucking love us. Yeah.
I think all I want from this band. Oh, I'm pushing it as far as we fucking can. We could be huge.
I like that.
I'd love that, but I just want to be fucking remembered.
Yeah.
The only people I look up to is Dexter Holland from the Offspring, lead singer of the Offspring, or Milo Ackerman, lead singer of the Descendants, who are both tenured professors at UC schools with PhDs in biochemistry and molecular biology. But at the same time, they play in these huge fucking bands. And I want to be remembered for fucking not just doing science and playing music. I just want to be I want to make sure that when I'm dead, people are like, that guy actually did some shit. He just didn't
You got the COVID vaccine,
Cancer, then fuck
I,
you,
dude,
patient.
I applied to so many jobs. So doing anything with COVID, I didn't get anything.
Shout out to
But-
anybody who's hiring for Aaron.
Yeah. My company's moving soon. So if you have a biotech company, yeah, I'm down. But yeah, anyway.
And for myself too, I think worst case scenario is we're still doing something we love to do. None of us, I couldn't think of anything. Anytime I ever play a show live, close that door. Anytime I ever play a show live, I know this. I would never have been doing anything better that night with my night than playing on that stage. There's never a night where I'm not going to play music where I'm on that stage that would have been better than me being on that stage. Nothing beats that feeling. So at the very least, we'll be local legends. We'll put our music out there in the world. Whether or not it sells 1 million copies, it'll be around forever. Maybe somebody fucking discovers it 40 years from now, and now it's the number one fucking album. But worst case scenario, it goes on like this. Best case scenario, we're a fucking massive band, and we're fucking nailing every festival, and we're fucking headlining. That'd be great too. But either way, I'm happy.
We'll become TikTok famous.
Yeah, fucking.
We are on the jukebox at Bender's. That's
We
our
are, fuck
claim to
yeah.
fame right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
it's coming.
I honestly, like I told you guys before, I didn't research you guys. I didn't know your music before you came on the show. But I like to interview good people, and then through this conversation, you guys created another fan. The music that you guys played for me before was amazing. The Anarchy song, really like that. So yeah, I hope you guys. Basically, I hope a lot of success for you guys. I think you guys are very passionate in what you do, and basically, it doesn't even matter if you guys get signed. You know what I'm saying? As long as you become just known to the people. And if it makes you happy, you shouldn't even worry about getting signed, because that's going to be the afterthought. Because
we definitely
when you like what you do, and then when you're good at it, it's going to come to you.
And
Exactly.
We're stoked to be playing in San Francisco because this is a city of amazing cities, and
Yeah.
it's just to
And
be
you're getting
enjoying
shows.
it.
You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even get bookings in shows.
Exactly. We're stoked. And that's what I'm saying before. Like where we're at right now, I'm obviously I want more because we're humans and that's our
Yeah, of
nature.
course.
But I'm very happy playing these shows and with these people in our music studio right here with you right now. I mean, I feel very privileged that you invited us, and it's just like everything is a stepping stones of what we're doing, and being at the right place at the right time, and just appreciating where you're at right at the moment is what life is all about.
So tell the people where they can find your music and what do you guys have new music coming up?
Yeah, well, we have an Instagram page at Dead River Rebels. We have Facebook. We're on iTunes and Spotify, and then we're getting ready to record a new album at the beginning of October, or a demo. We're going to see where that's going to go, but we've got about 6 or 7 new songs and a couple old ones that we want to redo. So we've got about a full album's worth that we're getting ready to put out, and so we're hoping to have that probably put together by the end of the year, hopefully.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, so yeah, the name of the album that you'll find it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on SoundCloud too, and Bandcamp, right? It's called Relentless is the name of the album. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's a great album to me.
And if you come to the shows, we're gonna put some of the new songs on our set lists, so you don't have to wait until the new record comes out. You can just come see us.
And can you tell the people that list that you read of your shows again?
Yeah. So
I took a photo of it.
I have a memory.
Oh, look at you.
So we have
He is
August
a scientist.
28th at Toots Tavern in Crockett, and then the next show after that is September 1st at Pacifica at Winter's Tavern, and then after that, September 10th, we're playing at the Blue Lagoon in Santa Cruz.
Yep.
And then on September 23rd, we're back in Pacifica at Winter's Tavern, and then October 22nd is our big festival. It will also be happening in Winter's Tavern, Pacifica.
we're kind of the house band at Winters. They love us. We love CJ. Big shout out to him.
We played there more than
Amazing venue. It's all free music, and it's just amazing scene. And places like that continue to help just the music world so much, and we appreciate that place so much.
Pacific is awesome too, and like that place in particular is right off the fucking highway, so you don't have to go in as Pacifica proper looking around for this place. It's right off the highway. It's right
Pacifica
there.
by the water and shit.
Oh yeah, right on the fucking water. You know, like the fancy Taco Bell. Yeah. But like for CJ too, CJ was putting on shows when the pandemic was still on and they were outdoor shows. He built the fucking stage like before nobody was playing shows, man. This guy was trying to keep it alive. I mean, he was like, let's play till the cops get called, and the cops get called. Like, so I mean, shout out to him, dude. He's a real G, and he's been a champion of ours. Shout out to DJ Test too. All the people that fucking believed in us, including you, Jordan, for having us on too, man. So yeah, we do appreciate it. But yeah, check out Winter's Tavern. Check out the other places. But yeah, we play at Winter's a lot.
So
they know Dead River Rebels there.
So, I mean, one by one, if you want to, we already know your band socials, but if you guys want to individually give out your social media, Instagram, whatever, if you want, and then if you want to promote anything as a collective or individually that you haven't said yet.
For myself, no, man. I mean, you can look at my social media and you're not gonna get an answer. I'm just never on it. It's not that I'm too cool. I stopped getting on it, dude, man. When the political divide was getting even bigger, I was fighting with a lot of people online. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So like, I'm not really on there. I'm barely on my own band page. Like Sean keeps that up. So if you follow the band page and you listen to our music, everything in our music, the lyrics, everything will tell you everything you need to know about me. Like if I'm an artist, I want you to know me through my art. Listen to the songs. That's the best way to get to know me. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything specifically, but like, just if you're gonna do anything, just do some fucking shit for the community. Honestly, because times are getting hard, things are getting worse out there. But if we stick together, we can fucking make it through. So that's what I'm fucking
Okay, Martin Luther.
Yeah, no one needs to hear my Facebook or whatever.
What I want to promote is Gremlin Music Productions, which is my production thing, and that's on Instagram as well. And I'm trying to promote that, and Gremstock, which is going to be our first little festival at Winters. But I put a lot of shows on all over the Bay Area. So if there's other musicians out there that are looking to play shows, punk rock shows, or all different types of shows, get at me on Instagram at Gremlin Music Productions, and
Spell that out for him.
Gremlin Music Productions with an S. So Gremlin.
Yeah, like the weird little animal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to follow me, I have for my solo project, the Room Waves. You guys can follow my Instagram. It's at Lullaby to Paralyze on Instagram, and then from there you guys can see the link to my Twitch channel where I do. It's called Couch Coach, and I do commentary of MMA, and I do reviews of pedals, and I just talk shit. You know.
I like it. Couch.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys for gracing me with your presence and sharing your music and your life story. Hopefully, I want everyone who's listening to this to support this band. Yeah, listen to this. There's no way you shouldn't support them because they are from your area. They're doing what they love, and what they're doing is actually good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, thank you guys again. And I only ask for one more thing: the Anarchy song. Can you guys hit us with an acapella of the chorus?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Anarchy, anarchy, I want to be free. I'm choking on the smoke from the capitalist machine. Anarchy, anarchy, you know you best believe we don't need these goddamn police. We don't need these goddamn police.
Fuck
Unless
the
your
police.
fucking house gets invaded, yeah.
Peace.
We are Everyday Celebrity Podcast, and we are out. You.
Appreciate you.